We have all the toys here, so that's to say that we have Steadicams, and we have cranes, and we have split diopters, and we have all kinds of underwater housings and special underwater cameras for the snake's point of views, and of course we have animatronics and prosthetics, and we have computer-generated effects and split screens, and we have kind of the full grab bag of movie tricks.
We have better technology to create better special effects, this time around. Than before, better than the first one.
We have to really shoot things out of sequence, so half of the things that we've been reacting to haven't even happened yet. So, and we'll never see the snake really. So this is going to be very interesting to see if we're doing the right reaction.
The development process is very complicated. It starts with just a concept, and this was done back in Los Angeles. I hired an artist who worked with me, and we took, of course, the beginnings from a real anaconda, and then we studied pythons, and we studied rattlesnakes and all kinds of snakes to see which eyes, which teeth, which palate, which scale, which tones sort of interested us. And we didn't want it to be a dinosaur, and we didn't want it to look like something other than a reptile. But we wanted to make it a little bit smarter than what an actual anaconda head looks like, and a little bit more awake and alive.
I guess what we all learnt early in the design process was that real anacondas look quite bizarre and comical. They're terrifying animals, but their countenance is a little bit of a joke. And so in a film where you need the animal to portray its persona, Dwight certainly wanted that to come across in its appearance. So there's been subtle modifications made to the head of the anaconda, but it's certainly always remained within the boundaries of other precedents in nature with snake specimens. We haven't gone off and turned it into an alien monster.
Our snake is a character. It is not a frame-for-frame reproduction of an anaconda, but it's all based on the teeth are exactly the same, the inside of the mouth and the palate is the same, the way the eye is set is the same, and then we take these little licenses, subtle, that make it seem more like a thinking creature.
Well, things have moved on since the first anaconda production, so those technologies that were used then have been surpassed in the digital area at least. And so its relevance was simply that a standard was set then, and the producer and the director wanted to bring those standards into line with contemporary standards, I guess, and improve upon it. So that requirement for an improvement is always music to the ears of an effects person.
Well, I think our dependence on animatronics has come down from what they needed on the first movie. But at the same time, there are certain moments of interaction between the snake or the monster and the characters that have to be accomplished in that fashion.
It's a very, very complex animal to emulate, and for that reason, we're going to use a combination of technologies to do it. Certainly there's a heavy reliance on CGI, but we also have a prosthetic component, prop component to it. And it's also, within this genre of film, a lot of inference too. There's a lot of shaking branches and shimmying grass and those sorts of things that build whet your appetite. But CGI is the only way we can have the speed and violence of such a massive animal in proximity to actors.
I've worked with CGI a little bit, but it always interests me. I think the guys are geniuses, and it is really interesting to see them work and see them having all these pictures of snakes and seeing how they move, and they can scan like the picture and then put it in and then map it onto the snake, so you're actually looking at the real coils, and then they work on the way things move. It really is amazing. It's a very, very clever process.
I think more than anything, I think people are expecting to or excited about seeing the snake again, and seeing this one I guarantee is going to be even better. There's a lot of money that's going into the CGI of the snake, so I think that's definitely going to be something that people get excited about, and I'm excited to see how that's all going to turn out.
I wanted to see some more special effects. I mean, I know when you shoot a movie, the actor doesn't get to see it while he's doing it, but I kind of wanted to see it. I wish I could, but.
But I will say this, that I, unlike the first movie, have shot miles and miles and miles of film of real anacondas. And I shot all this in Los Angeles well before this movie started, and I shot it myself. And all that material will be in this movie. I won't tell you which ones they are, because I hope you won't be able to tell.
Everybody, hang on!
Bill's boat, which is called the Bloody Mary, was designed very specifically for this movie. It's almost inspired by the African Queen from the Katharine Hepburn movie, with a little bit of the romance of an old jungle cruise movie almost, and yet it's a very practical salvage boat. And it's all very patched together out of old tires and plastic and iron and whatever he can salvage together. And it's just dripping with character. But the detail that's important for the movie is that these rivers are very, very shallow here. So the boat had to be designed to take very little draft in order for us to make a movie in these very shallow rivers. So it's really quite an engineering feat that we've been able to get this quite sizable boat into these very kind of interesting locations. A real boat honestly wouldn't go in there at all.
Oh man, is that our ride?
Look at the bright side, Cole. At least the weather's nice.
The first big visual effects event in the film that I'm associated with has little to do with the snake. It has to do with the heroes of the film getting into a situation of jeopardy and a one-way ticket into the middle of the jungle.
We wake up and the worst has happened. The storm is there, the water's risen, and we are missing our turn, which is going to put us in great danger near a huge waterfall. And that is where our real problems start.
Unfortunately, we lose the boat and we're sort of stuck. And we have to come together as an ensemble and figure out how we can continue. And a few of us, really the only priority is not only safety, but still trying to get this expedition going.
Once that boat goes over the waterfall, I think it's a wrap, you know, because I'm not even sure where the money is. I mean, with the 25, I'm sure it's on the boat. And I know they're not going to give me the other 25 now because I'm not going to be able to get into the flour.
Well, there's two kinds of challenge. One is the planned challenge, you know, the complicated shot with lots of layers and lots of different locations and technologies. And then there's the unplanned challenges that you inherit when you have bad weather and things like that. So in that category, the most challenging shot we faced in New Zealand, where we filmed a large waterfall that was the correct size for our film. And we had to wait for just the perfect weather. It had to rain for 3 days and then have clear weather to film. But the weather was better than we'd expected, and so we had quite significant flood conditions. And that required us to relocate our camera crane. But you know, sometimes those adverse circumstances give you new opportunities. And in this case they did, and we got some spectacular footage of a raging waterfall in flood conditions, only because we had to slip and slide and crawl through mud and find new camera positions to do it. So I think it's a classic case of turning adversity into, you know, a great opportunity. So that's that sort of category. In the category of planned challenges that go according to plan, I think most of the digital snake shots on the film are quite complex, and that's as much to do with the complex nature of the animal as it is to do with the logistics of filming.
But at the same time, the only thing, and I guess I said this before, that the only thing that ever generates suspense is investment in the character. And all other resources follow that.
We gotta get to the raft. It's our only way out of here. FYI, Bill! The raft is gone!
We can get it back.
How? Huh? How? We gonna swim after it now?
Look, the village is here. Jack is following the men's grenade. We cut across the jungle. We can catch him on the other side.
Catch him where?
He's going to that orchid. We find that flower, we find that raft.